हम लोग लाने की कोशिश करेंगे, पर आपको भी मालूम है कि अगर यूरोप या अमेरिका से गैस लाना होता है तो समय लगता है, पर हमारे पास रिजर्व्स भी काफ़ी हैं।
Well, you must note that air travel could soon get more expensive. With the war in West Asia pushing up global prices, airlines are beginning to pass on the rising fuel costs to passengers now. Here's a report on how much more passengers may have to pay.
Air travel is set to get more expensive over the coming few weeks with the war in West Asia and with respect to the global oil supplies. So the global oil prices have seen a direct hit and airlines are beginning to, push on the impact of this directly onto the airfares and the passengers.
The Air India Group is the first among Indian carriers to announce a phased fuel surcharge on both domestic and international routes, following a sharp spike in fuel prices. Air India has announced a fuel surcharge of nearly 400 rupees on domestic flights and up to $50 on international routes. The airline says that since early March 2026, aviation turbine fuel, which accounts for nearly 40% of an airline's operating costs, has seen a steep price escalation due to supply disruptions. So how much will Air India fares increase? In the first phase that kicks in from March 12, the surcharge ranges from 399 rupees for domestic routes to about $40 to $60 for South Asian routes and $60 to $90 on African routes. In the second phase starting March 18, surcharge from Europe and North America and Australia routes kick in. And in the third phase, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea fares will be announced. The immediate impact is now being felt by passengers, many of whom rely on frequent air travel for work.
While I do understand that airlines have their own operational costs, I feel that affordability and accessibility as passengers for us is very important, and for travel regarding work, there goes in months of budgeting and planning and project planning as well. So I feel that will definitely be difficult to manage.
It becomes very difficult for us if there are going to be rises in flight ticket prices, because we can't keep shelling out a lot of money, but we also need to get our work done. And since all of this is being caused by the conflict in the Middle East, it's very uncertain and it's very difficult for us to plan anything because we don't really know what the coming days are going to look like.
Aviation experts say aviation turbine fuel prices have surged by nearly 58% in just the past week, and the situation may not ease anytime soon.
It's very difficult for an analyst or anyone to really hazard a guess how long this will take, because they have got a stranglehold on the oil supply of the world at the Straits of Hormuz. So they are actually calling the shots here. Insurance premia always rise in terms of a conflict. Of course, it's going to reflect in what a passenger pays, because obviously you're paying a higher premium. The airline is paying the higher premium. And most insurance policies of airlines and aircraft do not cover war situations.
Other airlines, be it domestic carriers or international carriers, are also gradually going to follow the same route, because this impacts not just one airline but the industry, the aviation industry across board. And what does this mean for you as a consumer or a passenger is that the pinch is going to be on your pocket. With camera person Gopal, this is Tanushka Datta for NDTV.
All right, we have political friction brewing between the centre and West Bengal this morning. A delegation from the Trinamool Congress has been denied an appointment with our President Draupadi Murmu. The meeting, we're told, was meant to highlight development work carried out for tribal communities in West Bengal under Mamata Banerjee's leadership. And this development also comes after a controversy had erupted over an alleged protocol oversight during the President's recent visit to the state. Shreyashi tracking all the finer details for us. She joins us live at the moment. Shreyashi, what exactly has the Rashtrapati Bhavan communicated to the Trinamool Congress delegation while declining this meeting with our President?
Well, on the 9th of March, the Trinamool Congress leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, Derek O'Brien, had written to the Rashtrapati Bhavan seeking an appointment for a delegation of 10 to 15 MPs to meet Draupadi Murmu and appraise her about the kind of development work done not just for the tribals but for all the segments of the society here in the state of West Bengal under the regime of Mamata Banerjee. However, Rashtrapati Bhavan for now has declined any appointment time to the Trinamool Congress delegation, citing paucity of time. The Trinamool Congress has written a second email seeking an appointment as per the President's convenience, but that has not yielded any response as of now. Remember last week when Draupadi Murmu was on a visit to Siliguri, there was a controversy that broke out where she alleged that the protocols were not followed by the state government. After that, the MHA also sought a response from the Chief Secretary of West Bengal seeking details of the President's protocol. And there was a fierce political war that broke out with even the Prime Minister of the country tweeting about this incident. However, the Trinamool Congress has not been granted any time as of now to meet the President. A second request has been sent. The first request has been declined by the Rashtrapati Secretary, stating the paucity of time because of a pre-scheduled engagement. But we'll have to wait and see whether an appointment is granted to the second request that has been made by the Trinamool Congress delegation.
We'll continue to track whether that appointment does come through with you, Shreyashi, as always. Thank you so much. In fact, for a political comment, we have the BJP's C.R. Kesavan with us. Mr. Kesavan, glad to have you back. Thank you for your time. This controversy, it follows allegations of a protocol lapse during the President's visit to West Bengal. Does the centre believe the state government failed to show due respect to the Constitutional Office, and declining this meeting, can it be perceived as an act of tit for tat?
Good morning to you and your viewers. As a citizen, I would like to say that first, if Mamata Banerjee and her TMC had any iota of shame or conscience left, they would immediately first tender an apology to our Honorable President and the tribal community instead of seeking time. One will never forget the way in which the TMC's Jungle Raj regime deliberately disrespected and insulted our Honorable President. And we know that the TMC has uttered, disdain for our tribal community. Earlier, we have seen how members of their party, even a minister, had made derogatory comments about the appearance of our Honorable President. Not only did the TMC shockingly violate essential principles of protocol and propriety, they, deliberately humiliated the High Constitutional Office by denying a permission for an international Santali conference and shifting the venue where they very well knew that the Honorable President of India was the chief guest. This is blatantly indulging and demeaning the dignity of the Constitutional Office and the tribal community.
All right. We've heard what you have to say on behalf of the BJP. Thank you so much, Mr. Kesavan, for your time. You've heard what the BJP is saying, but the TMC has approached the Rashtrapati Bhavan for another appointment. We'll wait and watch if that comes through. Time for a quick break. We'll be back in a moment with the latest updates for you.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand. Motorola Signature, India's #1 camera phone. Grab Motorola Signature today.
An American military refueling aircraft involved in the US operation in Iran has crashed in western Iraq. 2 aircraft were involved. The second landed safely. The US says this incident occurred in friendly airspace, but an Iran-backed Iraqi militia group claims responsibility. The war in the Middle East rages on as it completes 2 weeks. 1 French soldier was killed and at least 5 others were wounded in a drone attack targeting a joint Peshmerga French base in Iraq. Donald Trump says Iran is paying a big price as this war moves very rapidly. Iran, though, stays defiant, says they will set the region's oil on fire if their energy infrastructure is attacked. Iran's new Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei issues his first wartime message calling for the Strait of Hormuz to remain closed and warning of more regional strikes. UN and Israel are mocking this, calling Mojtaba Iran's puppet.
Some moments in life are lifelong. Some memories are lifelong. Just like Tata Power Solar Roof, best quality solutions, lifelong service guarantee and unmatched expertise. ये on तो quality lifelong.
आपको शायद पता नहीं होगा, अपार ने INS विक्रांत के लिए 150 से ज्यादा तरह के केबल्स बनाए हैं। देश के टॉर्पीडोस में भी हैं अपार के केबल्स। वंदे भारत भी अपार के केबल से ही स्पीड पकड़ती है और यही वायर्स और केबल्स हमारे घरों को भी पावर करते हैं। विश्वास इसमें अपार, तभी तो ये है देश का तार।
करियर से अर्ली रिटायरमेंट हो या नए करियर की शुरुआत, रहो दोनों के लिए रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ रिटायरमेंट प्लान्स के साथ लॉक करें 10.2% guaranteed annuity rate for life. PNB MetLife, always ready for life.
The man behind Roaring Lion.
Can you say a word?
Israel's warfighter Prime Minister on NDTV.
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spoke to him at length yesterday. Thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth, and for the enormous friendship of the people of India. They are much admired and loved in Israel. And I won't get into the details of the conversation, but I've spoken to him and I've spoken to many other leaders in the region and beyond. Thank you.
First word since he declared war on Iran.
Just behind me, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
An NDTV world exclusive to Aditya Raj call. Benjamin Netanyahu on NDTV.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
First India tour in your city. Rag on with Shankar Ehsan Loy and Siddharth Mahadevan and Shivam Mahadevan. 5 times melody, 5 times masti with NDTV Good Times. Go, grab your tickets.
West Asia at war. Netanyahu thanks Prime Minister on NDTV.
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spoke to him at length yesterday. Thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth.
Israel opposition leader Yair Lapid speaks to NDTV.
Is there gonna be an Iranian Gandhi who will free his own people from oppression? So it's up to them.
Israel Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar on NDTV.
Israel and US going to leave Iran in a complete chaos. Do you think that there will be a civilian leader who could take over?
Not Israel and not the US will decide who will lead the Iranian people.
The voices that matter speak first and exclusive to NDTV.
NDTV DP World PGTI returns for its 4th edition, teeing off at the KBG Club in Ahmedabad. Framed by serene vistas and a championship layout, India's leading professional golfers share the fairways with Ahmedabad's top corporate leaders in a showcase of skill, sportsmanship and connection. From pure ball striking to clutch putts on true rolling greens.
को यहाँ से जाना ही होगा।
जय मां दुर्गा!
There is no bigger battle in 2026. And nobody has reported Bengal like I have. Buckle up for an unforgettable election thriller. Will the BJP breach Mamta's fortress?
TMC जावे बीजेपी আসবে
Can Didi fight off her life's biggest challenge?
বিজেপি ডাবল ইঞ্জিন সরকার এই লড়াই বাঁচতে হবে।
Battleground Bengal with Manogya Loiwal.
Across the country, he has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering
Breaking news we're tracking on NDTV currently. There are reports of blasts and smoke rising over central Dubai. According to a correspondent with AFP, explosions were heard and smoke was seen over parts of the city. We are, of course, waiting for exact details to come in, but this is the developing information that we are tracking currently. Breaking details coming in from the Gulf this morning. Reports of explosions and smoke rising over central Dubai as per AFP. Tejshi Purandare is in Dubai tracking the latest for us on Ground Zero. She joins us live this morning with further clarity and the clarification we need. Tejshi, what exactly are we learning about these reported blasts in Dubai? Where in the city were these explosions heard and where has smoke been sighted?
Well, you see, yes, that's absolutely correct. Central Dubai, if you talk about, is the area where the explosion just took place some time back. And this is now the fourth attack, if we talk about in the past 30 hours, because in the past 24 hours, if we talk about yesterday, then there were 3 such kind of explosions where the minor fire was reported. However, there were no injuries. But as of now, if we talk about, this is the fresh incident that has come to light even today. And also, in fact, let me tell you that our phones were also buzzing some time back because of this incident. Central Dubai, in fact, is one of the main areas if we talk about Dubai, because, as of now, what we are learning is that it could possibly be a drone which was perhaps intercepted. Now needs to be seen that whether it was an interception or the debris that fell on the building, or whether it was a drone itself, it was a suicide drone that just blasted and fell on the building, needs to be seen. So yeah, as of now, yes, we are waiting for an official confirmation to understand as to what has actually happened.
Continue to track what authorities in the United Arab Emirates and Dubai are saying, and when they issue any official statement clarifying what really happened in this incident. On that note, we're taking a quick break. We're back in a moment with the latest updates for you.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand. Motorola Signature, India's #1 camera phone. Grab Motorola Signature today.
Some moments in life are lifelong. Some memories are lifelong. Just like Tata Power Solar Roof, best quality solutions, lifelong service guarantee and unmatched expertise. Ye on the quality lifelong.
करियर से अर्ली रिटायरमेंट हो या नए करियर की शुरुआत, रहो दोनों के लिए रेडी। पीएनबी MetLife रिटायरमेंट प्लान्स के साथ लॉक करें 10.2% guaranteed annuity rate for life. PNB MetLife, always ready for life.
Alright team, our new order show is ready. Now we need a promo. Something cool, something sharp.
Well, I'm sure we'll be having outstanding reviews, solid suggestions,
Expert advice, the latest trends. It's a lot simpler. We'll help people make the right auto decisions. It's got the cool stuff, geeky stuff, serious stuff, all of it, so that you can discover, decide and drive. I'm Siddharth Sharma and I am your Automate.
Front lines of Kargil, the fury of Operation Sindhu,
so many attacks,
the chaos and cries of disaster zones, to fighter jet cockpits, and the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break, live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France, in Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV. In a month that moved markets, shifted diplomacy,
the entire world,
and stirred political battlegrounds, India chose its news carefully. NDTV India and NDTV 24/7. #1 on YouTube. NDTV Network, streaming India's trust. Leading India's conversations.
The man behind Roaring Lion.
Can you say a word?
Israel's warfighter Prime Minister on NDTV.
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spoke to him at length yesterday. Thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth, and for the enormous friendship of the people of India. They are much admired and loved in Israel. And I won't get into the details of the conversation, but I've spoken to him and I've spoken to many other leaders in the region and beyond. Thank you.
First word since he declared war on Iran.
Just behind me, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
An NDTV world exclusive to Aditya Raj call. Benjamin Netanyahu on NDTV.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind. I pause, I reflect, I dig, until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
First India tour in your city. Rag on with Shankar Ehsan Loy and Siddharth Mahadevan and Shivam Mahadevan. 5 times melody, 5 times masti with NDTV Good Times. Go, grab your tickets.
West Asia at war. Netanyahu thanks Prime Minister on NDTV.
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spoke to him at length yesterday. Thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth.
Israel opposition leader Yair Lapid speaks to NDTV.
Is there going to be an Iranian Gandhi who will free his own people from oppression? So it's up to them.
Israel Foreign Minister Gideon Saar on NDTV.
Israel and US going to leave Iran in a complete chaos. Do you think that there will be a civilian leader who could take over?
Not Israel and not the US will decide who will lead the Iranian people.
The voices that matter speak first and exclusive to NDTV.
NDTV DP World PGTI returns for its 4th edition, teeing off at the KBG Club in Ahmedabad. Framed by serene vistas and a championship layout, India's leading professional golfers share the fairways with Ahmedabad's top corporate leaders in a showcase of skill, sportsmanship and connection. From pure ball striking to clutch putts on true rolling greens,
को यहाँ से जाना ही होगा।
जय मां दुर्गा!
A very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Vadva. Explosions have been heard in Dubai. Smoke has been seen over the central part of Dubai. What is Donald Trump saying? He's claiming that the US will benefit from the rising oil prices while saying that the new leader of Iran is damaged but in some form. Iran is warning that Iran will set the oil in the region on fire if their energy infrastructure comes under attack. That is the situation on day 14 of the war. First, let's get you the headlines. A US refueling jet goes down in West Iraq while a second plane involved in the incident landed safely. The United States claims that the incident took place in friendly airspace. An Iran-backed Iraqi militia group is claiming the responsibility for that attack. And as the war in the Middle East rages on as it is on day 14, the French base has been attacked in Iraq, killing at least one soldier while injuring 5 others. While US President Donald Trump is saying that Iran is paying a big price as this war moves very rapidly, Iran stays defiant, says that they will set the region's oil on fire if their energy infrastructure is attacked. Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba has issued his first wartime message calling for the Strait of Hormuz to remain closed and warning of more regional strikes. It is the United States and Israel mocking the new leader, calling him a puppet of Iran. As Prime Minister Modi reassuring the nation amid fuel concerns, sending out a very strong message saying that India's energy supply is fully secure as the centre monitors the energy situation very, very closely. And it's the Chief Minister of Kerala speaking exclusively at NDTV's Power Play ahead of the polls, hitting out at the centre for ignoring the needs of Kerala. Says that the Kerala story is that of communal harmony. Breaking news coming out of Dubai. Blasts have been heard. These explosions that have been heard early this morning in Dubai. It's about 7:30 in the morning there, and blasts have been heard and smoke has been seen over central part of Dubai. This really comes close on the heels of an explosion in the heart of Dubai that's raised concerns about the security in the Gulf area as the ongoing conflict spreads across the region. Yesterday, residents in downtown Dubai reported hearing a loud blast in the busy district that houses the world-famous Burj Khalifa and the massive Dubai Mall. My colleague Tetri joining us from Dubai to get us the latest. Tetri, this is yet another attack that has come about. We're hearing explosions. Take us through the area that's come, that has been impacted by this latest explosion that's been heard in Dubai. Where exactly in central Dubai has this taken place?
Well, yes, absolutely. We just heard a loud explosion sometime back in central Dubai. And central Dubai is just few kilometers away. In fact, where I am reporting right now, let me also in fact tell you that it is one of the most important area when it comes to Dubai. However, in fact, there was an explosion. Now we need to see that whether it was a loud noise of the interception made by the air defense system of the UAE, or whether it was the drone that fell and then exploded on a building, because yes, there was a minor fire reported in the building. It was in the Creek Harbour area of Dubai. Again, it is one of the residential area, main area of Dubai. And one more area, in fact, Al Barta in Dubai, where we saw that concerning pictures coming in. The entire building was evacuated. However, there in central Dubai as well, if it has happened in any building, then yes, so certainly the entire building has to be evacuated. If we talk about the current situation, then yes, on roads we are also in fact seeing very less crowd, keeping in mind that it's the Ramadan month. People celebrate Ramadan here, but as of now we see there was no footfall and there was no crowd in the time in the evening or in the night as well, and the similar situation continues in the morning as well. If we talk about the number of interceptions, yesterday the latest figures of the released by the Ministry of Defence UAE, they were approximately more than 200, and precisely 267 ballistic missiles in fact were intercepted, and more than 1500 UAV till date have been neutralized, is what the Ministry of Defence of UAE officially, when they release figure, they have stated. Now needs to be seen, that how long this escalation continues, because UAE has made its stance very much clear that anything would be considered now as an act of self-defense. The Gulf countries also, in fact, the leaders, the state heads of the Gulf countries particularly have been stating that the manner in which the Iran territory of Iran is attacking, launching drones and ballistic missiles targeting the Gulf countries, they feel betrayed, because so far we have seen, that UAE also in fact has maintained cordial relations with both of the countries, and they always have believed in having talks via diplomatic channel, not in fact via any kind of a war, and that is why as of now also they have been advocating for peace. They are believing that,
of course, this comes about after that explosion that was heard near the Burj Khalifa and the famous Dubai Mall just yesterday. Now it's the central part of Dubai. Do remember, several global financial institutions operating in Dubai have already begun implementing emergency security protocols. So security measures have been heightened, whether they're tech companies or their banks. Banks have reportedly asked employees to work from home and review their plans in order to the potential threats that have been received, particularly by US-based banks and US-based companies. Tetri with us. Tetri, take us to the measures that are being taken by these US-based tech giants and by banks included, such as the Citibank.
The latest what we learned was that the Citibank has ordered that its branches will remain temporarily shut in UAE. All the branches across UAE except one in Dubai and the Emirates Mall. This was the latest update, and this was because the Iranian regime has in fact stated that they will be targeting the financial hubs of the US, and perhaps that is why strict instructions were also in fact given to the employees that they better prefer work from home. There are many American-based companies here in Dubai particularly, or say it be Abu Dhabi, because I traveled to Abu Dhabi as well. They have been working from home. The office
is the latest that we have for you from Dubai, where explosions were heard. The smoke that you can see is from the central part of Dubai, where explosions have been heard early this morning. You can see smoke billowing from the area that has in fact been hit. These are explosions that have been heard. It's probably a drone or debris out of that, after intercepting perhaps one of those attacks, and that is what we can see on our screens. The latest from Dubai. This is the central part of Dubai, where you can see that smoke that's billowing because, of course, there has been an explosion in that area. And this really comes about close on the heels of the explosions that were heard very close to Burj Khalifa and the famous Dubai Mall just yesterday. Tetri, my colleague, reporting from central Dubai, in fact, very close to the site where this explosion has been heard, a few kilometers away, literally. Tetri, visuals showing the impact of the damage. There's smoke, obviously, which means there's a lot of fire that has erupted in the area. Take us through, the measures that the government is taking. And is it business as usual in terms of other offices besides the US-based banks and tech companies?
Government is as of now taking all security measures to keep the situation under control. Any government would want that there should be no panic in this situation. That is why government is trying that it should deliver the information in a controlled manner so that the situation remains calm over here. If we talk about the government, then they have in fact, we are getting continuous messages and those buzzing sounds on our phone. Earlier, we just used to get messages. When I landed over here 4 days back, there was an alert of possible missile threat in the area, and we were asked to take a shelter. But nowadays, we are getting a beep, a strong sound on our phone, because here in UAE, they do not have siren systems. They do not have bunkers. All what they do is they just send you a beep and a message on your phone buzzes, and then you have to take a quick shelter. So this is a protocol generally that people follow. And UAE, in fact, here if we talk about what the government is in fact doing, the government is in fact have latestly introduced new laws for the building, for the construction companies as well, because we have been seeing that how the drones have been, the drones launched from the Iranian territory have been causing harm to the infrastructure over here. So new laws have been introduced. People have been asked to remain inside when such kind of notifications are coming to their mobile phones. And if we talk about tourism, then tourism has definitely been impacted over here. You can see in my background as well. I'll show you the street, and there in fact in the picture you see the most iconic building, that is Burj Khalifa, and this is the nearby area as well. And perhaps that is why there are less vehicles on road, less people on road. And this was a similar picture since the past 2 days, because there are no tourists. 1/4 of the flights are in fact flying from any other country to Dubai. Are only one fourth of the flights, approximately 1/4 of the flights are occupied, is what we are learning because definitely of the ongoing situation. But yes, the government is working in coordination with all the authorities to keep the situation calm. And more importantly, when we also in fact spoke to the ambassador of India to UAE, Dr. Deepak Mittal, he also stated that they have helped thousands of Indians to go back to India who were stranded over here. There are many who are still stranded because of passport and visa issue. They will also in fact be sent back as soon as possible. But yes, there is an uneasy calm in this area.
The situation on the streets of Dubai, do you see people coming out in large numbers since the time you reached Dubai to now? Has there been a change as far as the situation on the ground is concerned? Are people more cautious, treading with caution there, not coming out on the streets, perhaps working from home? And particularly when we talk about the situation at the airport, how problematic is it to be able to perhaps leave the country for those who are aiming to get out?
You see, yes, definitely at airport there are continuous reports of a possible threat. Airport is being evacuated. Was evacuated couple of days back. The flights, in fact, there were notifications that the flights are cancelled, but then again they take the situation under control, and then the flights are operational. Here I would like to pan my camera and show you the visuals so as to how the situation over here is. Yes, if you see a larger picture, then situation remains to be normal. But yes, there are less flights operating. If you have to fly to any other Gulf countries for that matter, when I asked, then I was told that it is United Arab Emirates flights that are only operating as of now, keeping in mind the security protocol as well. But you see, these are the pictures in fact I am giving you from one of the busiest area here right now. Yes, we did speak to a number of people over here. If I talk about the businessmen, they in fact stated that yes, it is a problematic situation for them. If I talk about those who trade in dry fruits, because they re-export the dry fruits, and the dry fruits in fact major part of the dry fruit comes from Iran. So they are in fact affected, impacted. They say that there are total 10,000 people who come on a daily basis, but now not even half of it are coming. If we talk about the gold market, the businessmen said that it is not impacted that much, but yes, there is a significant fluctuation that we could see in the gold market as well. And if we talk about other in fact markets as well, overall in fact the businesses over here, then the people believe that this war in fact has been affecting, because it is also in fact Dubai, which is said UAE, Dubai is said to be one of the safest place in the country when it comes to ranking, it is also one of the safest one. But when such kind of situation takes place, escalation takes place over here, there are significant damages, pictures of destruction, then it is very concerning for the people as well who are staying over here.
What is concerning is a 60-year-old British national has been arrested. Why? Because he was filming an attack that was taking place in Dubai. The missile attack that Dubai has been facing, that was filmed by this British holiday maker. This guy who was there on a holiday has been arrested because he was filming what was happening in Dubai.
Well, yes, there are restrictions when it comes to filming of the pictures, because there are restrictions put in place to avoid any kind of panic. For example, if there is any restriction or even if there is an interception taking place here in front of my eyes, I cannot record it because of the rules over here, because of the protocols, because of the advisories. After all these, missiles and drones that were launched from the Iranian territory, there was an advisory issued that whosoever will shoot the damage or the interception or the videos, strict action will be taken against them, penalty will be imposed, and he or she will be arrested. That is why we have to work according to all the rules and advisories, keeping in mind. And people also here are very much aware about not making any kind of videos, taking out their phones, who actually are aware about the laws and the situation, so as to how they need to cooperate in maintaining stability, peace, and not to let fear escalate in the minds of the people.
Of course, UAE under attack, and we can see, the latest visuals coming about from central UAE. Well, this is central parts of Dubai where this explosion has been heard, where the smoke is coming out from. Do remember that there are various targets in the UAE, particularly when it comes to the tech firms, the US tech firms and the US-based banks, and which is why precautionary measures are in place, whether it is the Citibank or other such banks in the UAE, particularly in Dubai. Now, Dubai Media Office has confirmed, the authorities there confirming that the debris from a successful interception caused that incident. Again, the government there, the authorities there calling it a minor incident on the facade of a building in central Dubai. No injuries have been reported, is at least what the authorities are saying. Do remember, every time we have seen this in the past as well, whether it was close to Burj Khalifa or whether it was close to, the other areas in Dubai, the Fairmount Hotel. Dubai has managed to intercept every attack, in fact, but there has been a lot of structural damage. They have, in fact, time and again said that they've only been minor. There's only been a minor incident as far as the debris is concerned. However, there is a death toll to be taken into account. There are people from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Nepal who have lost their lives. Do remember, there was debris that fell on a vehicle which was parked in the Al Barsha area of Dubai. Pakistani driver who's inside the car died. So the death toll that has risen, in fact, the last we checked was there were 7 people who had died in Dubai. So this is the situation on the ground, with more and more attacks coming about, with more and more debris falling. The Dubai government claiming and reassuring that the situation is under control. There are no injuries that are being reported. The incident was a minor one, is what the authorities are saying. They're trying to, of course, bring about calm and peace as far as the environment and amongst the locals and the nationals there. But this is the situation. This is day 14 of the war, the conflict, and Dubai being one of the biggest targets as far as this conflict is concerned. So what is being targeted as far as the UAE is concerned? Do remember the Al Dhafra port was targeted. We also know that areas, prime locations, whether it's residential areas or a data center that also came under attack. Do remember that Amazon data center that was attacked. Let's talk about the biggest tech hub when it comes to the region. So basically, Dubai has about 18 data centers, followed by Abu Dhabi, where there's 16 data centers. The Amazon Web Services, that means multiple cloud and data centers, with including also other companies such as Microsoft, where also has the cloud regions there. Google has its regional cloud infrastructure. Oracle, the corporation cloud data center, is also in the UAE. Now, that's followed by Bahrain. Let's get you that, as far as Bahrain is concerned, there's been a major cloud hub as far as big data centers in its capital, Manama, is concerned. Amazon Web Services there as well, the Middle East cloud region, Microsoft with its, region as well, then the Oracle Corporation there, the cloud region, and this also includes IBM, the infrastructure data centers, and the Gulf banking and fintech sectors. This is, all these sectors are served by the data center and the infrastructure data that comes out of these tech giants. Now, we also have Qatar, where this is now, surely becoming a fast-growing tech cluster when we talk about Qatar. It's a major tech facility that we have. We talk about major tech facilities, particularly in Doha. The Google cloud region there, Microsoft also there. We also have, when it comes to the infrastructure in the Gulf, supporting the government. This is what, these companies do, providing data in order to support the government, in order to support banking systems there, and also the AI infrastructure in the Gulf. Now, let's talk about Saudi Arabia, and that is the emerging hyperscale market with 50 data centers, the largest in the GCC. There are cities like Riyadh, Jeddah, and we also have other cities where the tech infrastructure from Google, we have, Google in the capital of Saudi Arabia. We also have cloud regions in, Jeddah and other cities. There's Microsoft, which is in a new region, which is still under development. So that is the importance of these companies when it comes to the Gulf countries, particularly those that have come under attack during this conflict, which is literally now we are on day 14 of the conflict between Iran and Israel, backed by the United States. Let's get you more breaking news coming in, and this is with reports saying that the US is in fact, we're talking about an Iranian vessel that was earlier it's the United States firing at an Iranian vessel earlier this week. Reports are saying that that vessel in fact, the Iranian vessel has approached the US warship with a vessel that sailed close to the Abraham Lincoln. This is the USS there, with Iran claiming that has rendered the warship non-functional. Now, they have fired back at the Iranian vessel, is what the United States is saying. They've released an image of the warship in action, and the US warship that continues to project its power at sea. That is the claim that's being made by the United States. So breaking news coming in of the United States releasing images of the warship in action. And we have Vishal, my colleague, getting us the very latest on this. Take us through, the United States there firing at this vessel earlier this week. Iran's vessel, of course, take us through the claims that are being made by Iran and those claims that have completely been refuted by the US through these images.
Yes, and these are some huge claims, Divya, because they clearly state that the USS Abraham Lincoln was attacked and they had rendered the USS Abraham Lincoln non-functional. So that's the key word here, non-functional, because that would be huge if that's true, because this USS Abraham Lincoln is the second largest USS aircraft carrier that they have, and it employs at least 5,000 personnel on board. It's a nuclear-powered ship. It's one of the biggest weapons that US has in its arsenal. So if Iran managed to attack it and managed to render it non-functional, that would be the biggest day of the war. But that doesn't seem to be the case, because US has, as you rightly mentioned, released some pictures of the warship being functional. So we'll have to see some more statement from the US side to get a full confirmation, to get a full picture, because it doesn't really address the fact that the IRGC has claimed such a big thing, and it is claimed a strike on one of the biggest weapons that it has in its arsenal.
Right. Thank you so much, Vishal, for getting us the very latest of the US there, showing its might, saying that the warship continues to project its power when it's at sea, releasing images of that warship in action. Let's just also get you, the 44th wave of missile and drone launches against the US and Israeli assets by Iran. Iran, they're releasing its footage of its latest wave, the 44th wave of attacks that have been launched by Iran on assets of the US and Israel. At least one soldier has died and 5 others have been injured. We're talking about French soldiers who were wounded in a drone attack at the base in Iraq's Erbil. This is the strike that's targeted a base in Makhmur district where French forces have been operating. They operate with the Kurdish fighters, and this is the latest that we have, with one French soldier having lost his life and 5 others being wounded. And blasts continue to see attacks over the night sky. Israel's military begins another wave of strikes on Lebanon's capital, targeting Hezbollah's sites. And then we have Israeli troops there continuing to maintain a forward defensive posture to protect the residents of northern Israel. The Israel Defense Forces, the IDF, has released this video showing how Israeli troops have conducted targeted night operations in the southern part of Lebanon, dismantling Hezbollah terrorist infrastructure. Is a claim being made by Israel, being substantiated through these videos. And here's a video from the northern part of Israel capturing the moment an Iranian missile impacted this residential area early this morning, injuring 33 people. This is according to the Israeli news reports. And on the other side, Israel continues to target Iran amid the war, and air defense batteries have been activated in Tehran following those airstrikes. And Israel says its Air Force struck another location linked to Iran's nuclear weapons development program near Tehran. The military says that the site was asked for advanced explosives testing that has been tied to nuclear research, and that is according to IDF. So Israel, they're saying its Air Force has struck this location linked to Iran's nuclear weapons. On the screen showing the aftermath of missiles fired from Iran towards Jerusalem. One of the missiles landed just a few hundred meters from the old city, close to some of the world's holiest sites, including the Western Wall, Al-Aqsa mosques, and also the Church of the Holy. This is a church, a very famous church in the area. This is very, very close to that where this missile landed, literally a few meters from the old city. While the United States Central Command has shared this video, they have shown multiple targets being struck in Iran. The social media post has in fact said that the United States is eliminating Iran's ability to threaten American forces and regional partners through these have been precision strikes that are being claimed by the Central Command of the States. Now, the war in West Asia continues to rage on. It's almost 2 weeks since the war that began on the 28th of February. In the latest, a French base in Iraq has been attacked by an Iranian drone. This has killed 1 French soldier, and 5 others in the troop have also been injured. The US President Donald Trump has issued a very strong warning when it comes to Tehran, saying that stopping Iran is of the greatest importance. He's also said that the situation in Iran is moving rapidly and that Iran is paying its highest price so far. Iran, however, continues to stay defiant, and they've issued a statement saying that if the United States and Israeli forces continue to target their energy infrastructure, then that's Iran, will set the region's oil on fire. It's not just oil, but also gas infrastructure on fire, is the warning that Iran is putting out. Meanwhile, Israel has asserted that they have eliminated the senior nuclear scientist in Iran. And we also have back home Prime Minister Modi there. Prime Minister Modi has spoken to the President of Iran just yesterday and reiterated that the country is doing everything to protect India's interest.
The situation with Iran is moving along very rapidly. It's doing very well. Our military is unsurpassed. There's never been anything like it. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And we're doing what has to be done. Should have been done during a 47-year period. Could have been done by a lot of different people. They chose not to do it. But they really are a nation of terror and hate. And they're paying a big price right now.
به دولت متجاوز و کلیه همپیمانان آن اخطار می‌دهیم. کوچکترین حمله به زیرساخت‌های انرژی و بنادر جمهوری اسلامی ایران پاسخ کوبنده و ویران کننده ما را به دنبال خواهد داشت. در صورت چنین تجاوزی همه زیرساخت‌های نفت و گاز منطقه که آمریکا و همپیمانان غربی در آن ذی‌نفع هستند به آتش کشیده می‌شود و نابود می‌گردد.
במבצע עם כלבי אנחנו פרצנו גם לראשונה את הדרך לפגיעה מקיפה גם במאגר הטילים העצום של איראן וגם במפעלי הייצור של טילים נוספים. כך עשינו גם ביחס לפרויקט הגרעין שלה, כולל פגיעה אנושה בבחירי המדענים האיראני, הם שהובילו את פיתוח פצצות האטום שנועדו להשמיד אותנו. הם כבר אינם. ואגב, פגענו בעוד כמה עכשיו.
In a major development amid the escalating Middle East conflict, there are reports that are coming in that 6 French soldiers are injured in a joint Peshmerga-French base that is located near Erbil in the Iraqi Kurdistan. This is the latest development that is coming in. What we know so far is that these are possibly Iranian missiles or drones that were operating in this region. Most likely a drone attack in this area, which has led to the injuries to 6 French soldiers. How critical are these injuries are not known at this particular stage, but this is a major development coming in. Earlier, we had seen a similar attack taking place in a French base in UAE that had led to the French scrambling their Rafale jets around the UAE airspace to provide security to the French naval base. But this is an escalating development that's coming in, even as Iran in retaliation continues to fire missiles and rockets and drones towards the US and the Western bases all across UAE and several other locations, including Israel. The big question certainly is that how long will this military escalation from both sides continue, and will peace be given a chance? Will there be a temporary ceasefire? Today we are in the 14th day of this entire Middle East war and conflict, mainly between Israel and US on one side and Iran on the other. And now, even as a new supreme leader has been announced and he gave his first statement, the statement is really reflective of the fact the war is certainly going to continue.
Let's just also get you the latest when it comes to the fresh assault that's taken place in the last 24 hours. To begin with, like Aditya Rajkol was reporting from Israel, talking about the attack that's taken place on this French base in Iraq. This has resulted in the death of 1 French soldier, injuring 5 others while providing counter-terrorism training in the northern part of Iraq after a drone attack that took place in the Erbil region of Iraq. The injuries were reported just hours after an Italian base was targeted in the area as well. Let's get you in Israel. It is Zar Zir. This is where within an hour's time, sirens were activated at least 3 times across the northern part of Israel. This is a building in Zar Zir that was hit and sustained major damage. 58 people are believed to have been injured in this attack that has taken place, the recent attack that's taken place in Israel. On the other side, we also have, in fact, Beirut, where there have been, Beirut, Lebanon and Israel have targeted Hezbollah as well. So that is where, there have been attacks that have taken place. So this is the Iranian missile strikes, targeting the area. Of course, this is also that is being reported. Multiple strikes on, whether it's in the Gulf countries, whether it's the French base in Iraq that has come under attack. Now, for the first time since the war began, Iran's newly declared supreme leader, Mojtaba has broken his silence, assuring his presence. Do remember that everyone had been questioning because he hasn't been seen ever since he was appointed. He hasn't been heard. But this is his first message in which he's issued a defiant warning and asking, in fact, the United States and its allies, in fact, this is a fresh threat that is directed towards them. In his first public statement since succeeding his father, he's declared that the Strait of Hormuz, a key artery for nearly 1/5 of the world's oil supply, will remain closed. In fact, has gone ahead and said that revenge and demanding compensation for damages caused by the recent strikes is, what he has spoken about in that message. He's also warned that the United States military bases across the region could be targeted if they continue operations. That is the warning that's been put out by the new supreme leader of Iran. Of course, the US president there dismissing concerns about global energy prices, saying that preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons remains his top priority. While he says, yes, of course, the Iranian leader is alive, saying that he's damaged, but alive in some form. Now, we also have the US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent also, who commented asking whether Mojtaba faced any threats from within. On the other side, we have Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling this messaging. In fact, not just the warning that's been put out by the Supreme Leader, but calling him a puppet of the Revolutionary Guard, claiming that the new leader cannot even show his face in public. However, in a separate update, Iran's ambassador to the United Nations has said that Tehran has no plans to close the Strait of Hormuz, easing fears of major global oil supply stock. So that is on the other side. But, this is the first statement that's come out by the leader after many were questioning, where is he? Why hasn't he come out? Why is he not being seen? And why is he not speaking out? Though, reports also suggested that he was injured on the very first day of the conflict between Iran and Israel.
There was a message from the bunker from the new Ayatollah. We haven't seen him, so let's see if we see him. Is he injured? Is he under threat from the other members of the regime?
אני לא הייתי מוציא פוליסות ביטוח חיים על אף אחד מהמנהיגים של ארגוני הטרור. זה פטרון הטרור שלהם. ואני לא מתכוון למסור כאן דיווח מדויק מה אנחנו מתכננים. תוך זמן קצר חיסלנו את הצורר חמינאי וגם בכירים רבים במשטר הטרור. חיסלנו את הרודן הישן והרודן החדש, מוג'טבה, הבובה של משמרות המהפכה, הוא אינו יכול להראות את פניו בציבור.
And amid rumors on social media sites about an alleged attack that's rumoredly doing the rounds is on Haifa. This is the port, the Haifa port, but NDTV brings you an exclusive ground report. My colleague Aditya Rajkol traveled to the port in Israel's Haifa city and found operations continuing to be as normal. The facility, managed by the Adani Group, shows no signs of any attack or any damage. NDTV is the only Indian news network reporting from the port in Haifa, debunking the viral claims with on-ground verifications. Let's get you all the details with my colleague Aditya Rajkol.
NDTV right now is reporting from the Haifa port in Israel. NDTV is the first media crew from India that has in fact reached here. We reported yesterday from the Israel-Lebanon border. A lot of hectic activity there, the IDF present there. But this is also a little far away from that location. We took a train to come out here from Tel Aviv. And right behind me, you can see normal activities taking shape. This is, of course, a very hectic time for them also, because ports play a very vital role when it comes to a lot of goods coming in here, from cars to wheat to things that are very crucial for the daily life of a common Israeli. And Adanis have a huge investment here. India-Israel partnership is the big momentum that we recently saw during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit, and a lot of activity taking shape as normal. There's been a lot of disinformation also taking shape across the social media, talking about how Haifa port has come under attack from either Hezbollah or Iran. But the reality is very different. Last night we did see a barrage of rockets coming inside the Haifa city, but otherwise there hasn't been any kind of a damage inside the port itself. We have seen, normal activity taking shape. We're seeing normal ships docking here, goods being laid out and taken out from here. And in every normal day, the kind of activity that we see here is being seen today as well. So don't believe any social media rumors, etc. about Haifa as yet. There's been no attack here. And joining us right now to speak about how things are under war, under the circumstances of the Middle East conflict, is Captain Sumit Chauhan. He's the president of the Haifa port. Thank you very much for joining us here. How are things here? Because we hear a lot of things on social media about destruction, devastation and attacks on the Haifa port. Could you give us a glimpse? We did have a tour for the last few hours here. We didn't see any damage, but could you on authority tell us how is the situation at the Haifa port?
Aditya, thank you so much for taking the time to come here and look at the port. It is a privilege to welcome you. Haifa port is we like to describe Haifa port as the anchor of the IMEC in the Mediterranean. It's a very important part of the India-Israel strategic partnership. Our Prime Minister Modi ji was here recently, and repeatedly it has been the Haifa port partnership has been mentioned. To answer your query regarding the experience here, as you can quite see, we are a very busy port.
Yes.
Haifa port is among the busiest ports in Israel. We are the most diversified port. We carry the most diversified sense of cargoes. And it is the most strategically important port in Israel. The operations, as you can see and hear all around you, is continues as normal. We have maintained continuity in place. As you have seen around us, we have continued to evolve as the war has progressed. We have continued to change our operational stance and SOPs as required. We have the safety of our workers, the safety of our personnel is of the utmost importance to us, and all our actions have been around it. We are very proud of the operational continuity which has been brought in by our workers from top to bottom and all the management, and it wouldn't have been possible without their resilience that has been brought in.
Aditya Rajkal reporting from Haifa port, debunking the viral claims with the own ground. This is the verification being brought about that everything is going as per normal. Operations are continuing at Haifa. With that, saving the short break, back with a whole lot more to stay with us.
Some moments in life are lifelong. Some memories are lifelong. Just like Tata Power Solar Roof, best quality solutions, lifelong service guarantee and unmatched expertise. ये on तो quality lifelong.
आपको शायद पता नहीं होगा, अपार ने INS विक्रांत के लिए 150 से ज्यादा तरह के केबल्स बनाए हैं। देश के टॉर्पीडोस में भी हैं अपार के केबल्स। वंदे भारत भी अपार के केबल से ही स्पीड पकड़ती है, और यही वायर्स और केबल्स हमारे घरों को भी पावर करती है। विश्वास इसमें अपार, तभी तो ये है देश का तार।
करियर से अर्ली रिटायरमेंट हो या नए करियर की शुरुआत, रहो दोनों के लिए रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ रिटायरमेंट प्लान्स के साथ लॉक करें 10.2% guaranteed annuity rate for life. PNB MetLife, always ready for life.
A big round of applause for the Chief Minister, Pinarayi Vijayan. Please welcome KC Venugopal.
Party will select a Chief Minister.
Power Play Keralam is speeding up. What is your relationship with Prime Minister Modi?
11 cases filed against me. A manufactured narrative made in the Rahul Gandhi factory.
Are you the Surya Kumar Yadav of Team UDF?
Warm welcome to Sri Ramesh Chennitala.
God has given clear direction. I don't know who told you that.
Do you think that Muslim League would be silent?
As Chief Minister and incumbent, what's your message to your opposition?
നമ്മുടെ കേരളത്തിൽ നിങ്ങൾ എല്ലാ ഭാഗത്തും ഒന്ന് സഞ്ചരിച്ചു നോക്കൂ. ഏതെങ്കിലും തരത്തിലുള്ള ഭരണവിരുദ്ധ വികാരമാണോ ഉള്ളത് എന്ന് പരിശോധിച്ച് നോക്കൂ. ഉറപ്പിച്ച് പറയാൻ കഴിയും അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഭരണവിരുദ്ധ വികാരമില്ല എന്ന്. അതാണ് യഥാർത്ഥ വസ്തുത.
At this moment, there are lakhs of people from your state across West Asia. What's your message to people from your state?
പക്ഷേ ഇന്ത്യ ഗവൺമെൻറ്റാണ് നടത്തേണ്ടത്. ഇന്ത്യ ഗവൺമെൻറ് ശ്രദ്ധയിൽപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇന്ത്യൻ എംബസികളുമായി സഹകരിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിർവഹിക്കാൻ നമ്മളും ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, സംസ്ഥാന സർക്കാരും ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അവിടെയുള്ള മലയാളി സഹോദരങ്ങൾ വിവിധ സംഘടനകൾ നിലക്ക് പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ സംഘടനകളുടെ എല്ലാം പ്രതിനിധികൾ എംബസിയുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. ആവശ്യമായ സഹായങ്ങൾ എല്ലാം നൽകുന്ന നില ഇപ്പോൾ അവർ സ്വീകരിക്കുന്നുമുണ്ട്.
I will try in my Malayalam. തങ്ങളുടെ ബിഗ്ഗസ്റ്റ് സ്ട്രെങ്ത് എന്നാണോ, തങ്ങളുടെ ബിഗ്ഗസ്റ്റ് വീക്ക്നെസ് എന്നാണോ?
ഈ കാര്യത്തിൽ വീക്ക്നെസിന്റെ പ്രശ്നം വരുന്നില്ലല്ലോ. ഇത് കേരളത്തിന്റെ
BJP is saying Vishwasa Samarakshanam, while the LDF is attacking you on the Congress party, saying that you are being very soft on Muslims and also Jamaat is going to do backseat driving.
These stories we are hearing for the last so many years. Congress is soft towards Muslims. Congress is soft towards everybody who deserve Congress support.
It's going to be either KC or somebody that KC recommends.
Party will select a chief minister without any problem. There is no much thought for KC Venugopal in that.
Your party, your coalition has coalesced around the figure of the very popular chief minister. The factionalism with the Congress party seems counterintuitive.
The people of Kerala are watching this drama theatre of absurd which is being played in Congress politics.
Do you see a difference between Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi?
Kerala has been gracious to guest workers, whether in politics or in
Now, in a message of solidarity to the nation, is Prime Minister Modi there saying that India will overcome the existing supply chains constraints just like we did during COVID, reassuring that the government is working continuously in order to address the supply chain concerns with tremendous progress in energy diversification and self-reliance. The Prime Minister notably urged state governments to come together and combat black marketing and rumour mongering during this time. This is the first big statement of the Prime Minister of India's energy challenges since the war in Iran began 14 days ago. He made the remarks after Hardeep Singh Puri, the petroleum minister, has assured the parliament that there is no shortage.
इस युद्ध ने पूरे विश्व को बहुत बड़े ऊर्जा संकट में धकेल दिया है। साथियों, ऐसी विकट परिस्थितियों में बहुत अहम है कि एक देश के तौर पर हम इसका मुकाबला कैसे करते हैं। West Asia, it has affected the whole world's energy supply chain. We believe in the ideology of India first. In any situation, we have seen how our government always puts the interests of Indians above everything. Even in these times, our approach will be the same. There is no need to panic or pay attention to rumors. I would like to appeal to the people, let us spread only correct and verified information. During the COVID pandemic, 140 crore Indians showed the world how mature our nation is. I am confident that as a nation, we will navigate every situation successfully. There is no shortage of petrol, diesel, kerosene, ATF or fuel oil. The availability of petrol, diesel, aviation, turbine fuel, kerosene and fuel oil is fully assured. Retail outlets across the country are stocked and supply chains for these products are functioning normally. Additional allocation of PDS kerosene has been issued to all the states. Large LNG cargoes are arriving on an almost daily basis through alternative supply routes, and India has sufficient gas production and supply arrangements to sustain this position even in the event of a prolonged conflict.
संकट का सामना करना है, साथ में मिलकर हम लोगों को करना होगा, लेकिन जो सरकार सारे साधन लगाकर जो स्थिति का निर्मित करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। विश्व भर से जहां से भी हम लोगों को गैस लाना होगा हम लोग लाने की कोशिश करेंगे, पर आपको भी मालूम है कि अगर यूरोप या अमेरिका से गैस लाना होता है तो समय लगता है, पर हमारे पास रिजर्व्स भी काफ़ी हैं।
Now, in the ongoing budget session of the Parliament, fierce debates erupted in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha over the reported shortage of LPG cylinders, particularly commercial ones, triggered by disruptions in global supplies. Countering the opposition's claim was the Prime Minister, wherein he said that the opposition has been exposing themselves. The Prime Minister also gave assurance that saying that India has been safeguarding the energy sector, the energy security needs, and that there's really no need to panic. The leader of opposition, on the other hand, launched a scathing attack on the government with regards to the LPG supply in the country. The leader of opposition even slammed the United States' recent statement, saying that the United States cannot decide whether India, who we really buy oil from. Speaking on the war, the leader of opposition flagged concerns, saying that the war would have grave consequences on India, and therefore more so after the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, is what was said by Rahul Gandhi. Let's listen into what the Petroleum Minister and the Prime Minister had to say.
This war is going to have far-reaching consequences. The central artery from where 20% of the global oil flows, Strait of Hormuz, has been closed, and this is going to have tremendous repercussions, particularly for us, because a very large portion of our oil and natural gas comes through the Strait of Hormuz. The pain has just started. Restaurants are closing. There's widespread panic about LPG. Street vendors are affected. And as I said, this is only the beginning.
For the first time in recorded history, the Strait of Hormuz has been effectively closed to commercial shipping. Despite India having no role in causing the conflict, like many countries, India has to navigate through its consequences. India's crude supply position is secure and volumes secured exceed. There is no shortage of petrol, diesel, kerosene, ATF or fuel oil. The availability of petrol, diesel, aviation, turbine fuel, kerosene and fuel oil is fully assured.
मैं उम्मीद भी कर रहा था कि आज शांति से हाउस चलेगा और स्पीकर साहब ने जो प्रावधानों के बारे में बात किया और सांसद के सदस्यों को आग्रह किया तो उसका पालन होगा, मुझे उम्मीद था, लेकिन थोड़ा सा फिर मुझे लग रहा है अभी कि कांग्रेस पार्टी सुधरे नहीं है.
I demand action against the leader of the opposition. I demand action against all these persons sitting in the Makardwar and breaking all the rules of parliament. The speaker has ordered that nobody is allowed to do any pradarshan, any demonstration here. They are not only doing a demonstration, they are having a party, they are having a picnic here. They are having toast and tea and biscuits and have converted this sanctum sanctorum, which we all consider as the temple of democracy. They have today shattered all the principles of democracy and all the principles of our founding fathers.
The fundamental question is the energy security of India. The basic issue is, from India's point of view, that how many Indian flagged carriers or how many oil tankers carrying cargo for India are allowed to transit through the Straits of Hormuz. Eventually, a barrel of crude oil is now touching $100. Everybody would be extremely happy if a peaceful resolution is found to the conflict in the Middle East. But Government of India should primarily focus itself on two things. Number one, ensuring the safety and security of the very large diaspora of 48 million people who reside in the Gulf, and number two, ensuring that India's energy security is not undermined.
डबल इंजन सरकार की जिम्मेदारी क्या बनती है? हर एक को लाइन में लगा दें क्या हम? कभी कोविड में उन्होंने लाइन में लगाया, नोटबंदी में लाइन में लगाया, जीएसटी से व्यापारियों को लाइन में लगाया, और अब देखिए एलपीजी के लिए लाइन में लगा रहे हैं। सबसे ज्यादा अफवाह अगर कोई फैलाता तो मुख्यमंत्री हैं। कौन अफवाह फैला रहा है? अफवाह यही तो फैली कि गैस है। अगर गैस है तो साफ दीजिए आप
कि देश में कोई भी सिचुएशन हो, सच कुछ भी हो, ये सरकार लगातार झूठ बोलती है और लोगों को बेवकूफ़ बनाना चाहती है। पूरे अखबारों के अंदर फोटो भरे हुए हैं, टीवी पर वीडियो चल रहे हैं कि गैस को लेके पूरे देश में अफरा तफरी है, रेस्टोरेंट बंद हो रहे हैं, मेन्यू कम हो रहे हैं, लोगों को पता नहीं शादी ब्याह भी हो पाएंगे या नहीं हो पाएंगे। हरदीप सिंह पुरी कह रहे नहीं जी हमारे पास गैस बढ़ गई है। मतलब आप कमाल करते हैं, आप कुछ तो सच बोलिए। आप पार्लियामेंट में झूठ कैसे बोल सकते हैं?
Not a time to create panic is what Hardeep Singh Puri is saying, and not to indulge in rumour mongering. Of course, the opposition, they're questioning the government, the central government, over the shortage of LPG. With that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. News and updates will continue. Thank you for watching.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand. Motorola Signature, India's #1 camera phone. Grab Motorola Signature today.
An American military refueling aircraft involved in the US operations in Iran has crashed in the western part of Iraq. 2 aircrafts were involved. The second landed safely, and the US says the incident occurred in friendly airspace, while an Iran-backed Iraqi militia group has claimed responsibility. There's war in the Middle East that's raging on as it completes 2 weeks. 1 French soldier has died and 5 others have been injured. And this is after a drone attack targeting a joint French base came under attack in Iraq. Donald Trump says Iran is paying a big price as the war is raging. In fact, it's moving rapidly. Iran stays defiant, says that they will be setting the region's oil on fire if their energy infrastructures come under attack. And Mojtaba in his first ever wartime message calls for, in fact, the Strait of Hormuz to remain closed and warns more regional strikes, while the United States and Israel is mocking Mojtaba Khamenei. Iran's calling him, in fact, saying that he's Iran's puppet. That is what Benjamin Netanyahu had to say.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
करियर से अर्ली रिटायरमेंट हो या नए करियर की शुरुआत, रहो दोनों के लिए रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ रिटायरमेंट प्लान्स के साथ लॉक करें 10.2% गारंटीड एन्युटी रेट फॉर लाइफ। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ, ऑलवेज रेडी फॉर लाइफ।
Alright team, our new order show is ready. Now we need a promo. Something cool, something sharp.
Well, I'm sure we'll be having outstanding reviews, solid suggestions,
Expert advice, the latest trends. It's a lot simpler. We'll help people make the right auto decision. It's got the cool stuff, geeky stuff, serious stuff, all of it, so that you can discover, decide and drive. I'm Siddharth Sharma and I am your automate.
Front lines of Kargil, the fury of Operation Sindhu,
so many attacks,
the chaos and cries of disaster zones, to fighter jet cockpits,
and the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France, in Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV. In a month that moved markets, shifted diplomacy,
the entire world,
and stirred political battlegrounds, India chose its news carefully. NDTV India and NDTV 24/7. #1 on YouTube. NDTV Network, streaming India's trust. Leading India's conversations.
A big round of applause for the Chief Minister, Pinarayi Vijayan. Please welcome KC Venugopal.
Party will select a Chief Minister.
Power Play Keralam is speeding up. What is your relationship with?
It's 10 a.m. and you are watching NDTV 24/7. I am Parmeshwar Bava. We've got an action-packed bulletin lined up for you with news from across the country and around the world. Let's begin with the top headlines you need to know this morning. On the 14th day of the intensifying war, attacks intensify. The French base has been attacked in Iraq. 1 person has been killed, 5 other troops were injured. Meanwhile, buildings in Dubai shook after loud explosions were heard and a thick cloud of smoke rose over a central part of the city. An American military refueling aircraft involved in the US operation in Iran has crashed in western Iraq. 2 aircraft were involved. The second landed safely. The US says this incident occurred in friendly airspace, but an Iran-backed Iraqi militia group has now claimed responsibility. Iran claims they targeted US carrier vessel earlier this week and rendered the warship non-functional. The US, on the other hand, releases images of the warship in action in the sea to counter Iran's claims. US President Donald Trump says Iran is paying a big price as this war moves very rapidly. Iran, meanwhile, stays defiant and says they will set the region's oil on fire if their energy infrastructure is attacked. Iran's new Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei issues his first wartime message, calling for the Strait of Hormuz to remain closed and warning of more regional strikes. The US and Israel mocked this, calling Mojtaba Iran's puppet. Meanwhile, Keralam Chief Minister speaks exclusively at NDTV's Power Play ahead of the crucial polls and hits out at the centre for ignoring the state's needs and says the Keralam story is that of communal harmony. All right, we now have official confirmation coming in from Dubai after reports of explosions earlier this morning. Authorities are saying an aerial attack targeting the city was successfully intercepted, but falling debris caused a minor incident on the facade of a building in central Dubai. According to the Dubai media office, there were no injuries reported. Tejshi Purandare is tracking the latest developments for us, though. She joins us live from Dubai this morning. Tejshi, correct me if I'm wrong, but officials have not specified whether the intercepted aerial object was a missile or a drone, but they have confirmed that defensive systems were activated.
Absolutely. They as of now have not confirmed that what kind of UAV it was. Was it in fact, a drone or something else? Because what we are seeing, the manner in which the attack was, there is a significant damage on the building, which could be seen. Perhaps the area is completely cordoned off. And as we were talking an hour back, that nobody is allowed to enter that area. Not just that, but nobody is even allowed to record as to what is happening, so that they can ease the panic over there. But if we talk about the latest update, or in fact where this building falls, then I just calculated, this building from Burj Khalifa is not more than 500 to 700 meters approximately. So that is the main, in fact, important talking point over here, that all these buildings that are being attacked, they're all in the very close proximity to the very iconic building Burj Khalifa. And behind me also you can see that is the Burj Khalifa, in fact, in the pictures, and that's the central Dubai area where the attack has taken place. And here, in fact, from where I'm reporting right now, that area is hardly 700 to 800 meters, but due to the advisories and rules that we have to follow here, we will not be able to go and report from the particular area, which in fact was under attack some time back. There was in fact a recent update on my phone for the possible missile threat while I was driving back from that area towards the WTC. And this is very important to note that this attack took place in the morning, and just 2 hours later there is another update on my phone. And perhaps that is why, not just that, but the nearby buildings have also been evacuated. The people have been asked to not to come to that area, and that entire building where the attack took place, it's been completely sealed as of now.
Given the ongoing crisis in the region and the fact that it's only escalating, are security agencies in the UAE and in Dubai specifically on heightened alert? And is critical infrastructure also currently, is there a heightened alert basically prevailing where you are?
Yes, there was an alert in my phone. In fact, I would also like to quickly show you the message that I got some time back on my phone about how there's a possible threat and we should take an immediate shelter. So this was the update that I got my phone about how there is a possible threat. I should go and take a possible shelter here. This is the phone's message that I'm showing you, and I would quickly like to read out. Due to current situation, potential threat, missile threat, immediately seek a safe shelter in the closest secure building. And perhaps this was again in the area where the attack took place. So important to note is that this entire area of central Dubai is repeatedly, continuously under attack, keeping in mind the gravity of the situation. That is why the nearby buildings have been evacuated, and people are being suggested to not to come out. And as in fact you were talking about that how the alert is sounded over here, the alert is in fact sounded via just a beep, and this is how you get a beep on your phone, and then you are being asked to move inside a safer place, because they do not have something called as a bunker or something called as a shelter home for that matter. And here in fact I would quickly like to pan my camera and show you the visuals of the nearby area. That's the iconic building of Burj Khalifa, in the vicinity of which, around where in fact like the 500 or 700 meters around this attack took place. And these are the pictures of the busiest street I'm giving you here. But you can see as of now there are very less people on roads, and now there is in fact keeping in mind the intensity of attack and the frequency of attack. People are also in fact assuming the fact that now the missile or the possible threat or the drone in fact could be intercepted anywhere across UAE or anywhere across Dubai as well. And that's why they have been asked to stay inside their houses. The offices, if we talk about, are all most of them are working remotely, most of them are working online, the schools are online. Yes, in fact there is in fact tension amongst people, but if we talk about the latest attack, then the entire area was cordoned off. Police was in fact asking people to not to even come an inch closer towards that proximity, and in fact nobody was allowed to shoot so as to what is happening over there. People have been asked to evacuate the nearby buildings as well. Now remains, because important to note, what we are learning is the ultimate target of Iran in fact remains to be the nearby area of Burj Khalifa, or in fact the iconic building Burj Khalifa, so as to send a message, because multiple attacks that we have been observing, they were from this nearby area of Burj Khalifa as well, because this picture, this video that in fact just we are watching on our television screens right now, in that video also you could clearly see this iconic structure. So it clearly signifies that, or in fact is a question that was there an attempt made to attack the areas intentionally near the Burj Khalifa. And one more important thing, you know, I would like to tell you over here that the GPS system are now not working over here. The Google Maps are not working. When we asked the taxi driver to move from one location to another, he said that the location is disabled right now. I am in Dubai, but the location was reflecting that I am in Ajman. It's been intentionally done so that they could avoid the missile threat or the drone threat, and intentionally in this all area, the Google Maps are being disabled for some time. The GPS locations are disabled.
All right,
for some time.
Tejshri.
And apart from
we'll
that,
continue to track the latest as far as Dubai is concerned with you, of course. Thank you so much for sharing these details with us. Do stay safe. We'll, of course, revert to Tejshri for the latest from Ground Zero. Well, you know, Dubai is not just a Gulf city. It's one of the world's most important aviation, trade, and financial hubs. So when aerial threats appear over the city, the impact is measured far beyond the region. Let's just break down the key locations for you, beginning with Dubai International Airport. It is the busiest international airport in the world by passenger traffic. It connects Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia, as you know. And there has been disruption here, and ripple effects have been felt across global aviation networks. There's also the Jebel Ali port, the largest port in the Middle East and a crucial logistics gateway for trade moving between Asia, Europe, and Africa. We have seen significant disruptions. We've also seen action at the heart of the city where Burj Khalifa stands. There were reports of drones near the tower, highlighting how aerial threats are reaching the symbolic and densely populated core of Dubai skyline. Nearby is also Burj Al Arab, one of the most recognizable hotels in the world. Authorities say debris from intercepted aerial objects triggered a fire in that area. Further along the coast lies Palm Jumeirah, the famous man-made island lined up with luxury resorts and luxury residences. Reports had indicated a fire at the Fairmont at the Palm. That's how it all began in Dubai, underscoring how tourist and residential zones are also within the threat envelope. There were reports of an explosion near the consulate. There have been reports near the Dubai Creek that have seen a drone strike near a residential tower, while footage circulating online shows drone interception activity over the Al Mamzar beach today. Taken together with the fact that there has been smoke billowing out of a building in the center of the city as well, these locations illustrate something critical, that these reported aerial threats are not concentrated in just one military zone. They do span aviation infrastructure, commercial ports, luxury districts, residential areas, and also diplomatic sites. On that note, we have fresh visuals coming in this morning. Let's just revisit some of the most striking images that have come in, beginning with the fact that Iran has released footage of the 44th wave of missiles and drone launches against US-Israeli assets. These are the latest visuals coming in. At least one soldier has died and 5 other French soldiers were wounded in a drone attack at this base in Iraq's Makhmur, Erbil. The strike targeted a base in Makhmur district where French forces operate with Kurdish Peshmerga fighters. Blasts meanwhile continue over the night sky as Israel's military begins another wave of strikes on Lebanon's capital, targeting what they are calling Hezbollah sites. Israeli troops continue to maintain a forward defensive posture to protect the residents of northern Israel. The IDF has released this video showing how Israeli troops have conducted targeted night operations in southern Lebanon in an attempt to dismantle Hezbollah's terrorist infrastructure. Meanwhile, this video from northern Israel captured the moment an Iranian missile impacted a residential area early this morning, injuring 33 people as per Israeli news reports. Meanwhile, Israel continues to target Iran amid the war. Air defense batteries were activated in Tehran following airstrikes. Meanwhile, Israel says its Air Force struck another location linked to Iran's nuclear weapons development program near Tehran. The military claims the site was used for advanced explosives testing tied to nuclear research. These visuals have come in from the IDF, you must note. And the video on your screen shows the aftermath of missiles fired from Iran towards Jerusalem. One of the missiles landed just a few hundred meters from the old city, close to some of the world's holiest sites, including the Western Wall, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and a church. Well, the US Central Command, meanwhile, has shared this video showing multiple targets being struck in Iran. The social media post said that the US is eliminating Iran's ability to threaten American forces and regional partners through lethality and precision. Well, there is strong rhetoric coming in from the US President Donald Trump this morning as this war with Iran intensifies. Posting on his platform Truth Social, Donald Trump claims that American forces are totally destroying what he called Iran's regime militarily and economically. In fact, in his latest post, the US President has asserted that Iran's Navy and Air Force had effectively been neutralized and that missiles and drones were being decimated. He's also claimed that senior Iranian leaders had been wiped out during this current campaign that's being led by the United States and Israel. He's had a lot to say in this latest post. He's accused sections of the American media, including the New York Times, of misrepresenting the scale of US success as far as this escalating crisis is concerned. Vishal Vivek tracking the latest for us as this message includes a stark declaration coming in from the US President. He is only saying, he's been harping on about how the US has actually emerged victorious in his latest statements. Vishal, take us through the details and the key takeaways from Donald Trump's latest declaration. What is he claiming?
Well, as you rightly mentioned, Parmeshwar, he seems to be responding to the criticism that he's facing at the moment because majority of the polls that have been done in the last 1 week or so, they seem to tilt in the favor of people against him. So he is not gaining a lot of traction as far as this war is concerned. A lot of his in-house supporters are also not quite happy with what is happening in Iran because there's no clear strategy. And in-house briefing, a classified briefing revealed that the US Department, the State Department, all of the Trump Department officials, they could not really pinpoint as to what is the exact objective of the war. So that is what he's specifying here, that we have clear objectives. We have wiped out the Iranian Navy, we have wiped out the Air Force of Iran. So they have the objectives in place and they want to remove, decapitate whatever remains of the Iranian regime. He's clearly speaking in a new tone here. This is the sharpest and the most scathing remark coming from the top echelons of the US administration, and he's clearly saying that he's happy to be killing the Iranian regime. That is the strongest statement to come out of President's mouth in the last 14 days. So we'll have to see. He's also claimed that this will be the most brutal for the Iranian regime. So we'll have to see what happens now, because that could result in a lot more strikes in Tehran and across Iran in total.
Indeed. Vishal, as always, thank you so much for breaking down the latest for us. We'll revert to you for regular updates. Meanwhile, the war in West Asia continues to rage on for the 14th day, and in the latest, a French base in Iraq has been attacked by an Iranian drone. This has killed 1 soldier and 5 others are wounded. The US President Donald Trump, meanwhile, has issued a strong warning to Tehran, saying stopping Iran is of the greatest importance. Trump has also said that the situation in Iran is moving rapidly and that Iran is paying a high price now. Iran, however, continues to stay defiant. They have issued a statement saying if US and Israeli forces continue to target their energy infrastructure, then they will set the region's oil and gas infrastructure on fire. Meanwhile, Israel has asserted that they have eliminated several senior nuclear scientists in Iran. And you must note that Prime Minister Modi has spoken to the Iran President, Masoud Pezeshkian, just yesterday. And we're told that he reiterated that the country is doing everything to protect India's interest. These are the crucial reactions we've lined up for you. Listen in, followed by Aditya Raj Kaul's report.
The situation with Iran is moving along very rapidly. It's doing very well. Our military is unsurpassed. There's never been anything like it. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And we're doing what has to be done. Should have been done during a 47-year period. Could have been done by a lot of different people. They chose not to do it. But they really are a nation of terror and hate. And they're paying a big price right now.
به دولت متجاوز و کلیه همپیمانان آن اخطار می‌دهیم. کوچکترین حمله به زیرساخت‌های انرژی و بنادر جمهوری اسلامی ایران پاسخ کوبنده و ویران کننده ما را به دنبال خواهد داشت. در صورت چنین تجاوزی همه زیرساخت‌های نفت و گاز منطقه که آمریکا و همپیمانان غربی در آن ذی‌نفع هستند به آتش کشیده می‌شود و نابود می‌گردد.
במבצע עם כלבי אנחנו פרצנו גם לראשונה את הדרך לפגיעה מקיפה גם במאגר הטילים העצום של איראן וגם במפעלי הייצור של טילים נוספים. כך עשינו גם ביחס לפרויקט הגרעין שלה, כולל פגיעה אנושה בבחירי המדענים האיראני, הם שהובילו את פיתוח פצצות האטום שנועדו להשמיד אותנו. הם כבר אינם. ואגב, פגענו בעוד כמה עכשיו.
Well, as this US-Israel and Iran war escalates, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Qatar defy Washington's pressure and stay out, fearing devastating Iranian missile strikes on oil hubs. And due to the Hormuz closure, Gulf leaders are prioritizing defending their infrastructure over joining this offensive. Here are the details you need to know at the moment.
As the war between the US, Israel and Iran intensifies, one question is looming across the Middle East. Where are America's Gulf allies? Despite decades of security ties with Washington, key Gulf countries including Saudi Arabia, UAE and Qatar are resisting pressure to join the offensive against Iran. For Gulf leaders, the risks of entering the war are immediate and potentially devastating. Iran has already launched missiles and drones across the region, targeting energy facilities, shipping routes, and military bases in several neighborhood countries, raising fears the conflict would spiral into a much wider regional war.
این کشورها باید تکلیف خود را با متجاوزین به وطن عزیزمان و قاتلین آحاد مردم ما معلوم کنند. من توصیه می کنم هر چه زودتر آن پایگاه ها را تعطیل کنند، چون لابد تا به حال فهمیدند که ادعای برقراری امنیت و صلح از سوی آمریکا دروغی بیش نبوده است.
For many Gulf countries, the message is clear. Openly joining the war could make more of their cities, oil infrastructure, and critical shipping lanes direct targets for Iran. And the stakes are enormous. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the most vulnerable choke points in global energy supply, is under growing threat. There is also a deeper strategic shift. Several Gulf states have cautiously improved ties with Tehran, hoping to ease tensions after decades of rivalry. Joining a US-led war could undo those fragile diplomatic gains overnight. Some leaders are also growing frustrated by how quickly the conflict is escalating, saying they received little warning, leaving them exposed. For now, Gulf states are focusing on defense, intercepting drones, protecting energy infrastructure, and trying to keep global oil flows moving. For Washington, the hesitation from its Arab allies is striking. Countries that have long relied on US security guarantees are increasingly wary of being pulled into another devastating regional war. And as the conflict expands across the Middle East, Gulf leaders appear determined to avoid becoming the next front line. Bureau report for NDTV.
Meanwhile, a US military aircraft crashed over western Iraq during Operation Epic Fury. The US Central Command has said a KC-135 Stratotanker refueling aircraft was lost during their operation. US authorities claim the incident occurred in friendly airspace and involved 2 US aircraft. One aircraft went down in western Iraq, while the second aircraft landed safely in Israel. CENTCOM says this crash was not caused by hostile fire or friendly fire, and rescue operations are currently underway. But you must note that the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, which is an umbrella group of Iran-backed militias, has now claimed responsibility, saying it categorically targeted the aircraft using air defense systems. Aditya has more for us. Listen in.
In a major development on the 13th day of the war or the Middle East conflict right now, the US Central Command has come out with a statement confirming, in fact, that a KC-135 refueling aircraft has in fact crashed in western Iraq. This is a friendly airspace. That's what the US Central Command has confirmed. Till now, they have not given details of what exactly happened that led to this crash. Was this a mid-air refueling crash, or was this a crash due to some technical errors on ground? While this incident has happened during Operation Epic Fury on the 13th day of the conflict, today we are on the 14th day beginning. The war continues, but as of now, more details are awaited from the US Central Command on the nature of this accident. Of course, the US Central Command has said that 2 aircrafts were involved in this incident. One landed safely, the other went down in western Iraq. More details are awaited for the service members who could be, on this aircraft. There could be pilots or others who were involved in this. Are they safe? Are there any casualties that have been reported? No clarity yet. Till now, there have been about 8 casualties that US has suffered in the last 13 days across the Middle East due to the attacks launched by Iran in retaliation to the Operation Epic Fury. But this is certainly a major development coming in. There are several refueling aircrafts that the US has from Israel to UAE to Qatar in different US bases that are operational across the region.
Meanwhile, amid rumors on social media about an alleged attack on Haifa port, NDTV brings you this ground report. Aditya Raj Kaur traveled to the port in Israel's Haifa city and found operations continuing as normal. The facility managed by the Iranian group shows no signs of any attack or damage. You must note NDTV is the only Indian news network reporting from the Haifa port, debunking the viral claims with on-ground verification.